Good morning, pen friends. Hope you're all well. The pen I'm going to talk about today, I've had a lot of people ask for. I do say at the end of my videos, if you'd like me to have a look at a pen, please comment below or send me a message. I've had a lot of messages about this pen, and it's actually not a pen I've ever owned before. The pen is a Pilot Custom 823 fountain pen. Now, I've got a lot of friends who've got these. I've got a good friend in Germany, his name's Danny. He has quite a few of them. So it's a very well liked pen on the market, and I've been able to pick one up secondhand. So quite a nice box this pen comes in, even though it is secondhand, of course. And if we open it up, got your lid, you've got a bit of your foam, and underneath your foam you get a nice big bottle of ink and the pen, and also some brochures as well. So we'll take out the pen. I quite like that bottle too. It's a 70 ml bottle of Pilot black ink, so that's quite cool as well. But we'll put that box off to the side and we will have a look at the pen. So the Pilot Custom 823 fountain pen comes in 3 finishes, I believe. So you've got this one, which is called Smoke, which, if you can see, hopefully you can see, it's partially translucent. So not sure if you're going to be able to see that too well on the camera there, but it's actually not solid color at all. So this is your Smoke color. They also do a color called Amber, I believe, which is a light brown, quite pretty actually. And they do a translucent clear version as well. They recently released a custom finish through a site called John Gould's in the US, which was very cool. It was blue and orange, and I was looking at getting one, and they sold out before I could add one to my cart, so that was a bit of a shame. But I was able to pick this one up here in the Smoke color. So going to talk a little bit about it today. So looking at your dimensions firstly, so the capped length, so the length from the top to the bottom is 147 mil. So it's not massive, but it's also not a tiny little pen. And the length uncapped is 131 mil. So it's not a massive pen. Maybe on the smaller size for myself, but then I usually have big pens. So for a lot of people, I think this would be quite a standard sized pen. The section diameter is going to be 10.7 mil, so again on the smaller side, and the barrel diameter is going to be 12.4 mil. So it's not a big pen at all, but again, it's not small. It's a nice mid-size would be my thought. The pen can post, and actually posts quite far down and nice and securely. I don't like a pen that posts really high up or sort of seems to wobble. This one is not the case. It does post nice and securely on the pen, and when it's posted it gets all the way to 157 mil. So for somebody like myself with big hands, that would be my preference. But I like that you've got both options. You can use it posted and it can be quite comfortable, or similarly you can use it unposted if you had smaller hands. Now this pen is an interesting filling system, and I believe from Pilot, almost every other Pilot I've got a custom Urushi I reviewed earlier, which is a pen I love, that comes with your Con 70 filling system. This one is quite different. It's actually a vacuum. Now, I've talked about the vacuum filler in a previous review looking at a Visconti fountain pen, but never from Pilot, and as far as I'm aware, the 823 is their only vacuum filling pen. Now, I would love to show you how it works, but this pen actually has ink in it, and it would put ink everywhere, but effectively you would turn the end of the pen, you pull out the end knob and you see a little bar, and then you'll push in the bar, and what you're doing is you're pushing the bar down, is you're creating a vacuum, you're creating pressure inside the pen, and at the base here the pen will widen a little bit internally and will release the vacuum, and it will suck ink up into the pen. So the idea being, of course, the nib is inside the ink bottle at the time. It's quite a cool filling system. It obviously holds a lot of ink, if you can see the amount of ink sloshing around the pen there, but effectively you can fill the whole barrel with ink, which is something I think is quite popular, especially from a Japanese pen manufacturer, because often their pens run quite a bit finer than the European market. And most Japanese fountain pen manufacturers, as far as I'm aware, if you look at brands like Sailor and Platinum, and also most of the Pilot range, they're generally cartridge converter pens. So it is a little bit different from the 823 to have a vacuum filler. I believe it's the only Japanese manufacturer that does offer a vacuum filling system. So that's quite cool. My only complaint with the vacuum filler is it's a little bit hard to clean, especially if you're using inks that have shimmer in it. You do need to plunge up and down multiple times, and it can be quite hard to sort of cycle through if you're someone like me and you really like to clean out your pens, especially when you're changing inks. This pen comes with a gold nib as a standard option. This one is a 14 karat medium. If you can see that there, it's a nice detail. I don't think it's it's pretty. You've got a little bit of detail. You've got your 14 karat on there, and obviously your nib marking. It's not a massive feed, and the massive nib, and the feed is just a plastic feed. They don't do ebonite feeds at Pilot. They're all plastic, but they do write well. The flow is quite good. The nibs are, for the most part, quite soft. Again, looking at the Custom Urushi review, that nib is really springy and really soft. This one is not like that. This one will be a lot more like the rest of the Pilot range and will be quite stiff to use. As I've talked about earlier, Japanese pens will run quite a lot finer than the European counterparts. So if you're looking at a European medium, I would probably move up to a Japanese broad, or even double broad potentially, but it will write quite a bit finer, which will take you to the writing sample, which I will do in a second. I think aesthetically it's a nice pen. I don't think it's inherently spectacular. I like the transparency, I like the gold details. Pilot's pens, for the most part, are quite similarly looking in terms of this clip. They've got a similar center band. I don't have any issues with it, but I wouldn't say it's a beautiful pen. But it's a nice sort of corporate style pen, or if you like that standard cigar shape, I think it's a nice pen. There's nothing wrong with it, but again, I don't think it's beautiful. And the finish is just plastic, which again, it's not a bad thing. Potentially for the price point, would be nice to see a variety of materials, something like the Urushi on my Custom Urushi, or even a celluloid model like Platinum. They do a celluloid pen, so potentially it would be cool to see some interesting materials that they work with as well. But once again, nothing wrong with it. It's just maybe a little bit plain. Price point for these, if you follow the Japanese pen market, their prices have gone up significantly in the last 12 to 24 months. I believe they've said cost of gold has meant that prices have gone up, but I've seen prices on these pens almost double in the last 2 years. Which is a bit of a shame. Japanese pens, in my mind, were always the lower price point, but still offered gold nibs and still offered really good performance. The fact that their prices have gone up significantly is a bit of a shame, makes them a little bit more unaffordable for a lot of people. So these ones are about $500 if it's USD or Australian dollars. 500 to 600 now, I believe, and they used to be about 300, so that's gone up quite significantly. But you obviously can get a variety of models from Pilot at a variety of price points. So I hope you've liked my overview of the Pilot Custom 823, and now we'll go to a writing sample. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, so here we are with my writing sample of the Pilot Custom 823 fountain pen. Now, as I spoke about earlier, you can see the ink inside the pen there sloshing around, and I've actually undone the end cap. The reason you might need to do that is it actually lifts up the knob. You can see there's a little gap between there and the end, and what it means, it'll just add a bit of extra ink down into the nib. I believe the recommendation is if you are going to be doing a lot of long writing with this pen, that you do actually want to open the knob up, and it allows a bit more ink to flow down to the nib. So something to consider if you're looking to buy a vacuum filler fountain pen. We'll see the Pilot Custom 823 fountain pen. And you'll see as I write with it, it's not going to be a wet pen. It's not going to be inherently dry. The flow is going to be quite good. It's going to be very, very consistent. As I spoke about earlier, it is quite a stiff nib. You're not going to get any sort of line variation or even flex from the nib at all. But for an everyday writer, it will write quite well. It'll write lovely and consistently. The flow will be quite good. It's not going to put a lot of ink down on the page, but it is a smooth writer and quite a pleasant writer as well. So it's one of those pens I think that's a great workhorse pen. It's a really excellent everyday pen. It will write well for you consistently, and it will provide quite a nice writing experience. So it's a nice pen, the Custom 823. If the price point suits what you're looking for, it'll write smoothly, and you've got quite a big ink capacity as well. So I hope you've enjoyed today's review. Please let me know what you'd like me to review next. Thanks again.